This is a bisque-fired piece with the Amourya impression on the outside of it here. You can see the image. We're dipping it into a glaze. It's a Celadon glaze that will pool down in the recesses here and make it a little darker in the recesses and a little lighter on the surface, which will make the image stand out more. This has been bisque-fired after it was hand thrown and then thrown in a cylinder, and then the Amourya stamp was wrapped around it. You can see where one edge of it was here, the other edge here. That's where we put the handle, so it was wrapped around. It was a straight cylinder, stretched it out a little bit because when you're pushing the stamp into it, it will distort the cylinder shape. And then, so we have the image on the outside, put the handle on it. We've waxed the bottom of it here, so when we dip it into the glaze, nothing will stick to the wax on the bottom. We've got a smooth surface here where we actually trimmed it to trim the foot in, so this stamp image went all the way down to the bottom when we first started. So you can shape this and take off some of the image. But what we're going to do here, a lot of people would say, well, do you brush it on or what? We're going to actually dip this in. If I dip this in halfway, the moisture will go into the porous clay and then leave a deposit of glaze on the outside. But went halfway and then went all the way, then I'd have two layers on the area where I dipped it in twice, and only one layer on the other part went. So when you glaze it, it would look real strange. So what I'm wanting to do is hold this by the handle and do one dip all the way on this. So we're going to go down into this bucket. We've got this completely coated. I'm letting it drip off. If I turn this up the other way before this dried, all those little drips would come on the outside of it, and it would make the image a whole lot different. So you want a consistent glaze, so I'm just going to let this drip for a while. And when it quits dripping, then I'll turn it over, and it'll be where it won't run anymore. Now what's happening here, you can actually see on the surface where all that moisture from the glaze is being sucked into the porous clay. Just about ready to turn this back over. I want to make sure that doesn't run, so that will have it coated. I've just got it where it's not on the handle. Once this dries, I can hold onto this dry part and I can dip the handle in. So it'll make it where it's consistent. There's a little bit of glaze that's stuck on here. It's still wet. That's real easy to wipe off. All of this is really, like I said, you can see the image in there. That'll really stand out. Probably what we'll do a little bit on this is hand rub this a little bit, because there's pinholes here, and that will make that more consistent, and it'll fill in the little pinholes that are on this.
What do you mean by hand rub?
Just rub your hand over it once it's dried. That way all of the glaze will powder a little bit, and it'll go down into the recesses even more.